Hello and welcome. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing a morning workout. For those of you that have seen some of the morning workouts, I'm not going to be talking about diet or exercise. What I wanted to talk about is a rather sensitive subject, especially for families that have experienced having a child go through the ICU. Now, why do I feel like sharing this story with you? Well, it's almost our 2-year mark when Maleah, 2 years ago, was admitted to the primary children's ICU by life flight. Now, I'll share a little bit more about that story, but something that Linda and I have talked about since Maleah's experience is how we can give back to those healthcare providers that did so much to us, in particular to the Ronald McDonald House. Now, I just want to share a little bit of the experience that we had, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I think I can do and something that you might be able to help out with. I'm not really sure. All in all, this might just be a good story for you to surface a remembrance of how important children and how important families are. So I won't give you all the details, but about 2 years ago, Maleah was, I believe she was 4 months old, and she was a fat little thing. She was really fat. and I think that actually helped a lot considering her circumstances. But she was life flighted because for a few days, Maleah really struggled to breathe. And Linda and I, we really didn't know what our options were other than to try to help her get better. We'd carry her around the house and let her sleep. She was just so lethargic. And for those of you that have had or are having children right now go through kind of a lethargic experience, it's awful. It really is. Especially when it's a newborn and there's so much uncertainty that can come with children, right? So about a few days after we could tell Maleah was really struggling to breathe, just a real raspy sound, Linda determined that she would go and get things checked out. So she called me up and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go and see what they say. They'll probably just put something on her heart or on her lungs, and they'll probably just send us home." Well, as soon as Linda brought her to the hospital, she showed signs of turning blue, and actually Linda would probably say that she was kind of starting to look blue before she took her. Linda took her, and immediately the doctor determined that she needed to be life flighted to Primary Children's. But when she got to Primary Children's Hospital, they discovered she had RSV. Now, I understand RSV is extremely common right about this time of the year, and so that's kind of why I thought it would be also appropriate to share this story, because I think there's a lot we can do to, again, give back to people that do so much to serve when families are in those kind of circumstances. So she had RSV, she had the rhinovirus, and the adenovirus. That's a lot. Again, thank goodness she was a chunky baby. because that really worked in her favor, I think, because she lost a lot of weight, and she needed all that fat nourishment. So while we were there, Linda's background is she's a nurse, and as a nurse, if many of you are nurses that are watching this, if you as a nurse have had family that have been sick, and certainly everybody has, you're probably pretty paranoid, because you know what types of things practitioners remember and don't remember when they're trying to help your family out, right? And by the way, if you hear our children, yes, they're very healthy right now and are fighting. They decided they wanted to congregate right outside of the office door, and they're hanging on the door right now. What an appropriate time, right? Anyway, so Linda was pretty adamant about making sure that people wore their protective equipment, make sure that they sanitized, and she wanted to check every change nurse to make sure that they were completely aware of the situation, make sure they had all the information in front of them to, of course, provide the best care. Well, Primary Children's really did an extraordinary job. They really did. And there was a lot that was outside of their understanding, because throughout the process, Maleah did not get better for about a week and a half. And what had happened was, along the way, she got pneumonia and her lungs started collapsing, and they just couldn't tell us whether or not she was going to live or not. And trust me, we asked as many questions as we could possibly ask to get a sense of the real circumstance. And it was tough. It was exhausting. Now, certainly I had to work, and we had kids that were being watched. Mariah and Michaela were being watched by families and church members, which we certainly appreciated. But what was most appreciated, in my mind at least, is Linda had a real hard time sleeping, and when she slept, she didn't really sleep. And so we learned that there was what's called the Ronald McDonald house. And the Ronald McDonald house was on an upper level. And for those of you that aren't really sure what it is, like I wasn't, you just think of Ronald McDonald, and really I had no idea what to expect. But when you go up a couple floors to this Ronald McDonald house, you walk in and see all these families. And as we learned over time, there were so many families that had it way worse off. I remember one person, their baby was having open heart surgery. RSV was a part of the condition. I mean, just a really uncertain circumstance. But as we went into this room and we saw these people, we saw this staff of volunteer people that were doing everything they could to comfort the families that are in there, to help them to feel rested. To the left, I remember seeing down a hall a bunch of rooms, kind of like a hotel room or a motel room, where Linda and myself were able to take some time to take naps. And then they'd change the sheets, and you could come back later and take another nap if you needed to. And then off to the right, there was an area to watch television. In the corner over here, there was an internet cafe so people could work. And then there was this big kitchen with kitchen cabinets, just as full of food as you can imagine. That was just restocked almost every day. And so we rested in the Ronald McDonald house, both physically. We rejuvenated with food. We sat down and watched shows. We talked with other families. I worked and was able to get some things done with the business during this time. So the Ronald McDonald House has been something that I have just felt such a great desire to give back to them. Several times last year, Linda and I talked about if our company hit a certain number of sales goals, that we would be able to afford, giving back. For us, it would be a sizable donation. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. I think that the Ronald McDonald House could use a little bit of help from individuals. Now how, other than just giving them a bunch of money? Well, one thing that people can do is you can call them up and just ask if you can provide a breakfast, lunch, or dinner type of a meal. Usually it's dinner. And at a particular time, you come and you bring food for, I don't know, you'll probably have 50 or 60 people in a line, just ready to eat and relax. And I promise, if in your heart you would like to really serve at this time of the year, to really springboard things into momentum, that would be a real honorable thing. I think you'd be amazed at how good you'd feel. I know as a recipient, I'm here now sharing this story. Well, that's one thing that you can do. And last year we talked about giving back that way. But I'd like to do something a little bit more financially, and I believe that my work provides a platform for me to help out, where we can give some financial money and make a difference in growing the Ronald McDonald House and making sure people are provided for. So I'm in the healthcare compliance field. We do OSHA, HIPAA, Medicare, and human resource and employment law. The training and the books and the ongoing support. So one may ask, well, why would somebody that's into fitness and how do you get into this? Well, I won't get into too much of the story, but suffice it to say, there were the times I've gone, the times I went in and out of the hospital and I saw protective equipment or protective clothing being worn, and people taking special precautions not to talk to people that shouldn't be listening to private family information. I saw a lot of things being done to make sure that equipment was being used right. Everything was labeled. I mean, now I've really grown to appreciate how important compliance is and how much it protects the families. So I find great joy in being able to help more hospitals and dentists and orthodontists and physical therapists and any private practice be able to keep their employees safe and to keep patients like my daughter Maleah as safe as possible, to provide the best care possible for the family and for the patient. So what I'm thinking of doing, what I'm planning, the plan moving forward, It's the beginning of the year. We, as a company, had a fantastic year last year, bringing new practices into our into healthcare compliance solutions, where we're able to serve them with the training and everything I mentioned. What I'm planning on doing is every 10 new customers I'm going to give $250. Now, that's not a lot, but every month that our company can hit at least 10 new customers, well, we're going to donate $250 to the Ronald McDonald House. And I am really excited about this. I think that there will be a real feeling of reciprocity, of being able to give back for something that I've received, and I think that we're going to hit it every month this year, and so that's kind of a personal thing that I'm going to do. Our company is kind of the platform where I'm able to do this. And I'd invite you to consider some special, meaningful type of a charity or an organization where you can reach out and serve with your time, your talents, your interests, and if you can, certainly your means. And I think there's a lot of ways to contribute. So hopefully you can take that into your families and hold them tight. Maleah has since, she's now 2.5, and she developmentally, we didn't know how she was going to progress. She's been fantastic. I can't even believe how good her vocabulary is. But anyway, I appreciate you listening. This message is about service. This message is about hope. And I just felt like I needed to share this with you. It's been in my chest for a while, and I wanted to get it out out of my mouth and share it with other people. So I encourage you to share this video if you feel like this is something that can lift someone else's spirits and motivate others to serve, and hope that you continue to be grateful for the little things, because as someone once said, over time you really do realize that the little things, that the big things have always been the little things along the way. So that's it for today. Hope you make it a great day. Be safe, and I'll look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks.